Well, today is one of those videos you just don't want to make. In today's video, we're going to go over the good and the bad and break down what really happened. We're starting the daily just like normal. We opened up today, we had a green day Friday, and then we opened up today just above the highs from Friday, pushed up, put in our pre-market high, pushed down, put in our pre-market low, and then just kind of chopped around a little bit. So today was looking like a potential chop day because we were inside Friday's candle. We didn't reach this resistance again, but it really could have went either way. Still, if you look at this time frame here, though, you're looking at an uptrend. We pushed up, we pulled back a little bit, and now we're just kind of in this range. So this would be like our overall range would be from the prior day high actually down to the prior day low. This would kind of be our range over the last couple of days. Our outside range would be the high back here, which is actually the resistance point up here, and the low down here. So we have a lot of room that we can trade around inside the interior or exterior points anyways, range. Then on the 4 hour, you can see we are in an uptrend. We did pull down into that 4 hour that I was talking about. There's still a couple down below us that we need to hit, but we did pull back into that and then go higher. So we are still in an uptrend with what we can see based on the range high and the range low. So this is the third candle here, like a little pullback, so this would work. If we fib this out, which I did not do this morning, I did fib the 1 hour, but not, let's go to the wick. Let's go here to here. 0.5, we bounced off of it. 0.618 would be a little bit better of a retracement here, our 3 candle pullback, and then we could go higher from there. So that's looking pretty good and healthy. All right, the 1 hour here, you can see I did fib this out, and I expected a 0.5 to a 0.618 retracement. We do have a fair value gap right here, which lined up with our pre-market low. You can see we hit it and bounced, hit it and bounced, hit it and bounced, hit it and bounced, hit it and bounced. We did not have a close below the midline of this fair value gap until this last candle here, and now this one's actually pushing a little bit lower. None of this was here this morning, though, up till right here. This was the 9 o'clock candle. This is the 10 o'clock candle. We pushed down and then pushed back higher. We'll see that a little bit better in the lower time frame. All right, the 15-minute candle. Look at this, baby. So we got August 10th here. We started out down here. We put in the low. We traded higher, and then boom. From like 4 o'clock, 4:30 was around our half time frame there, and then from 5:15 on, we just traded down. So coming into this morning was a little bit tricky with that, just because this was showing a downtrend from about 5 o'clock this morning. So you'll see I did draw this box down here off of this fair value gap that we had way back here. We touched into it, went back up to VWAP. You can see I had a box here with this fair value gap here. We closed above it and then sold back down. So this is a little bit of a chop today. Here's another one. We went, closed inside of it, and then came back down. So it's a very choppy day today. All right, let's take a look at the 5 minute. Let me back it up a little bit here. I'm gonna click on it again. Whoop, where'd it go? There we go. So on the 5 minute, we traded around a good bit today, trading up on what I showed you to put in the pre-market high and then selling down the rest of the morning. I had a fair value gap right here. I had some consolidation right here. And as you can see here, we had the orb high, we had the orb midline, and we had the orb low put in down here. And then we traded up. I wanted to see one of two things. If we broke low today, I was going to trade a 1-to-1 with the auto TP, which would have been trading a break below this with a stop somewhere around the midline, because I didn't really like the down trade as much as I did the upside trade, but we were below VWAP. So if we broke above VWAP, I wanted to enter that trade with a range trade in one contract and let it go with a potential add in at L2, which is about the midline. And so we traded, we broke above, and you can see I did get in here. We'll see that a little bit more on the 1 minute, but let's take a look at all these boxes you can see. So I have this box here that's drawn out from over here. I have this box here from all these wicks. It's like a shelf here. And then I have another box because we put in a massive fair value gap right through here. Then we had this big sell down candle, and I put in a box through here as well. And then you can see more wicks here for a shelf. We've got a fair value gap right here. We got a fair value gap down here. It was just a lot of, there was no trend this morning. I got another fair value gap here and another one with a shelf right here. So I done the shelf and then extended it to the fair value gap, another fair value gap right here. So there just wasn't a whole lot to do trend-wise in the market today. All right, now on the 1 minute, we can actually see where everything happened a little bit better. Whoop, let me fit this. Back it up, back it up. All right, here we go. Orb started here. We got wicks, 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 and then we sold down. We put in our low here with this wick and then pushed back up. We got our midline right through here. We got our orb high right up here at the top of this box actually is the orb. You can see it right here, orb high. So we did have some buyers stepping up this morning. We made a low, then we made a higher low, then we made a higher low, and here we kind of had a lower low, but then we broke it and made a higher low here, and then we pushed higher. So we entered here, or we broke here and pulled back. I put my entry right on the orb and VWAP and got wicked in. Let's see, my entry was 41.50. Let's see, the low was 40.25, so almost to the tick. Had a point and a quarter of drawdown there, and we went higher. And then we pulled back to VWAP again. We pulled way down here. This wasn't really where I wanted to add, so I didn't. And it was a big candle down and then came back up, and then we pushed higher. When we pushed higher, we put in this gap through here, and actually this gap should be like this. And I was wanting to exit the trade. I actually sat here and thought about it, and I'm like, if this goes down to the L2, I could exit up here for like $60 and then re-enter at the L2 and everything would be fine. So as we pulled back down to VWAP for the third time and pushed back up, I was really thinking about it and just couldn't make up my mind. So I was like, if it goes to L2, I'll just add, and then we'll go from there. And then we sold down. We didn't even look at VWAP on this fourth one. We just sold down, and then all the way down to the midline. You can see I entered right here off the bounce of the pre-market low. Got in my second contract here. Then we pushed up, and then we sold down and back to the midline. And I didn't really want to over leverage today because we had no news today. There's nothing real big moving the market or anything like that. We pushed back up. I put this drawing in here. Actually, it should be back like this. I started it like this anyways. And then we pushed up into it. This was a good rejection point back down. Then we pushed up into it again and back down. And as you can see, we traded even lower. And at this point down here, I was like, I could add in another one. So my risk on the first trade was like $240. This risk took me up to $375. This risk would have took me up a little bit over $400, and then my average would have been even lower because here I was in at the orb high. Then this average brought my average down into here. If I'd have got one here, it would have brought my average down to kind of like the midline. And I just didn't do it. I didn't want to add in. I was too nervous about adding in. And then we started selling high or buying up higher here. So I had the gap here. We never really tested it. Well, we did, but just not in this little frame. And then we pushed higher, back up in here and pulled down, and then we went higher. I took one off just to, and this was my plan all along down through here. I was like, I had an overall target at the high, pre-market high of where I wanted to target. And then I was like, I don't want to ride both contracts that way. So when we get back up to the orb high, I'm going to take one off. I put it a little bit above it, so there was a little bit of profit from that first contract based on how they average. And we did. We hit it. We pulled back down to VWAP, and then we went just a tad bit higher, and then we sold back down. So I took that one off. I moved my stop to break even, which was like right in this area here, right below this shelf here. It was below a 5-minute shelf as well, but that hadn't been tested. But I was like, I'm just going to move it, protect my winnings or losings, and be good to go from there. And so then we were chopping around. I wasn't really paying attention. I was, but I wasn't at the same time. And I was updating Claude. I'm using Claude as a note taker because I don't record my whole trading session. So I just talk to Claude and tell it what I'm going through, and it kind of feeds back everything. And it said, good job. You exited. That was the plan. You moved to break even, blah, blah, blah. So then I started taking pictures of a watch, and I look over, and this has happened. We're in this candle like right here as this is happening. And I was like, wait a minute, something happened. This gap on a 1 minute doesn't happen without some sort of news. So I was like, okay. And this was not planned. It's not an entry plan that I have or nothing. I just know that gaps like to be filled. And so I was like, okay, we bought it up hard right here. We could very well eat this wick, and I knew that. So I was like, I'm going to put in a contract if we break above the body here. So I did, entered in 2 contracts. We pushed up halfway through this gap and then sold down. And I don't know why I entered this one here. I don't know why I really entered this one here. Just trying to average down and increase my reward by decreasing my risk on each additional entry. And then we sold down again. I entered another one here. So this, if you look, 2, 4, 6, 8 contracts. I'm in 8 contracts now. And I didn't want to risk earlier in the morning when we were trading, in the way that I thought, or down here. I didn't want to add in to take off up through there. So completely against my trading plan, completely against my entry criteria. And then we come down again, and I entered another one at the break of this green candle here. So now I'm in 10 contracts. Now, if you think back, if you saw Wednesday's video from last week, this is the exact same situation. I knew where the market was going to go, but I over leveraged. So then at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't want to add any more. I just don't want to. So we pushed up, we pulled back, we pushed up, and then I was like, okay, I had 10 contracts at this time. So I was like, what am I going to do? I had them all right here. And I said, okay, if I put them all right here, that's like, I think it was like $700 or something. But I was like, if I put 8 here and put 2 back up at the pre-market high, what's that look like? Because that's ultimately where I thought price was going to go for the day. So I did, and I looked at it, and I split out 2 contracts and raised them up to the pre-market high. And I was like, okay, this locks in like, I don't know, I think it was like $500. Yeah, it wasn't, yeah, like $500, and that it locked in right here, and then the other 2 would have gotten me another good bit of money. Actually, would have not funded, but got me $1,500 on the account because I moved it inside of the pre-market high just because of that. So we kind of chopped around a little bit. We come up, we hit, those 8 contracts are gone. So I'm like, okay, good. So I just left my stop, updated Claude on everything, moved my stop up into here, and I was like, it's not in a really good place. I don't really have a good place to move it. I'm just moving it up to break even, a little bit over break even. I think it's like $3 over break even or something. And I'm going to go take care of the other stuff I needed to take care of. Photographing some watches and stuff today primarily. So then I take the photos, I go downstairs, upload them to my computer, and get them onto my phone so I can edit them. And then I come upstairs, and we're like right here. We're bouncing around right in here. We almost hit my stop, and we're bouncing around. It's like, okay, and that's where I drew these trend lines in here to try to see what might go on. And this one right here, literally to the tick. Look, Control E, 29,744. The low of that candle was 29,744. Stopped out to the tick. And I was thinking, like, maybe we'll do something during power hour. We can wait and see what happens or whatever. But yeah, I got stopped out. It did come back a little bit lower here. And, now we're chopping around. It may go to the pre-market high this afternoon. I don't know. But today's one of those days where I don't feel good about the way I traded. The gap did get filled like I thought it would. The question is when would it get filled? Here we know. When I was entering these contracts, I didn't know that. And I over leveraged dramatically. So I just, I don't feel good about the trade that I took today. This is one of those winning trades that was a bad trade that won. It is an exact replica of Wednesday. Price went exactly where I wanted last Wednesday, but I wasn't in the trade because I over leveraged and the account got taken out beforehand. One thing I noticed today too is I increased that risk on that account because I only had a couple days left to fund it and needed to make the $1,500. Today I don't need to make anything. I made $900 in this account Friday and have my $2,000 in drawdown, and I'm good to go. I don't need to make any money. But when I started with this process here, back here, actually, let me back up. My first entry and my second entry back here, this was protecting. I knew there was no data today. I knew today could be a choppy day. I knew today wasn't a day to put on any extra risk. So back here, I'm protecting my account. I'm only risking $300 and hoping to make, $600. And it was a sized risk that I was comfortable with, that I was okay taking. Before I ever even got in a trade, I said, okay, the entry I want to see is above VWAP. Break above VWAP, pull back and test it. Spot on. The second potential entry was at L2. Entered that right off the break, right off the bounce of the pre-market low and the midline. Spot on. perfect trading, in my opinion, for it. I could have potentially added another one down here, but it wasn't an L2 or an L3 signal or anything like that, so there wasn't really a reason to add here because we were below pre-market low and everything at this point, and I was trading up into VWAP. So taking the one off up here, moving the other one to break even, I'm completely fine with all of that, with all those trades. What I'm not fine with is this. So I obviously, you can see I got stopped out here. I had my runner up here. That one other contract got stopped out, and then I entered these. None of these trades were valid. None of them. Entries. None of these entries are valid. The whole trade idea itself wasn't valid. It's valid that yes, gaps like to get filled, but this gap could have got filled 3 weeks from now. If this was really bad news on something with the war or something like that. And I was just like, oh, we bought it back up. And then like it switched. My whole mindset shifted. And when I knew it, or before I knew it, when I added in this last contract down here, I looked and I'm risking $900. I'm risking a full day's, well, I made $900 Friday. I'm risking my full daily loss limit on this. And there's nothing to this. Nothing. Just a whole bag of nothingness. And I risk it. I'm grateful and thankful. I actually told my wife, like, right in here, like, start praying, you know, that this, something's going to happen. And then I told her, I said, normally when I start praying, that's when things go bad because I know I'm over leveraged and I know I'm in too big of a size on the trade. And that's why I'm resorting to praying. Thankfully, our prayers did work on this one, and I got exited on these 8 contracts here. Had I taken the other 2, I think it would have been like $300 more right here, 200 or 300. But I was willing to risk that on up by being at break even, and yeah. So then it traded down, got stopped out. Like I said, I have no idea what the market's going to do today. We're back up at pre-market low here. It could go all the way up. It could not. I'm not trading anymore today. I'm done. I'm shutting it down after I do this video. But as you can see, I did have $564 in profit on this account. I've still not touched my funded account. I did not want to trade it today because of it being a Monday with no news. And I just didn't want to risk anything in that account. I don't feel good about this $564. Again, it's a bad trade that won. And it could have very well went the other direction. And I could be $1,000 down on the account. So one of the things that I said too is I didn't learn anything from this. There was nothing to learn from this. Had it won or had it lost, or even with the win, I didn't learn anything from this other than this is exactly what not to do. Trading for no reason, boredom, revenge trading, all those things fall into this of why these were taken. I really can't speak for why I saw this gap down and immediately wanted to jump back into the market. I had no grounds to jump back into the market. I didn't know what the news was. I didn't see anything that I could see. So the only thing I can learn from this is just don't ever do this again. That's all because this very well could have sold on down and hit my daily loss limit. So this is not something you want to do. You want to stick to your trade plan. You want to stick to your criteria for your entries and your exits. And you want to stick to your loss limit and your risk limit. I wasn't willing to risk $1,000 today, especially not back here when I actually had a plan for what I was going to trade. So today could have been very bad. I'm thankful that it wasn't. And tomorrow and the rest of the week, hopefully we'll have some good movement and be able to trade. I don't know about tomorrow, actually, because I have a call. So I'm going to have it up just in the background, but I am going to be out live on that call. So I probably won't trade tomorrow unless it's just a really clean setup. We'll just have to see what happens. But hopefully you've learned something from this. Thank you for watching the video. If you've made it this far, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I've explained today about my mistake here and why I shouldn't trade this. Let me know if this taught you anything or brought anything to light for you. If you know anyone who is interested in getting better at trading and wants to see the raw discussions that I have on this channel, please share it with them. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss anything. And come back another day and we'll see if we can pull some more money out of the market the proper way this time.